Welcome to Reading with Robin live on a Monday. What a way to start the week. It's so exciting. Kimberly Belle and I are here to entertain. Kimberly's going to dance and I'm going to sing.
No.
None of that's a deep sigh of relief from everybody. That is not going to happen. But I was telling Kimberly, I'm really digging this Crowdcast platform, and thank you for all the comments down the side. And I know we're starting at 4, but I know there are a lot of people still joining us, so you can keep writing your little comments. And also there's it says ask a question below, and if you ask a question below, we'll be able to sort of keep track of them, as lovely as all the hello messages are, and we love them. Allison, put your question in the question box if you may. This is where I call on people, and it's just great. It's like just such a fun community full of readers, and everybody's so happy to be here on a Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern. I always have to remember to say that. And at the end, Kimberly and I were talking about it. We do have the ability to bring somebody on with us to ask the question in person, so you get to be on the virtual stage. So when we get to that, we'll ask you. There's no pressure. So you don't have to go run and put on your makeup. There's a lot of like dressing involved with this. Like, coming from a radio background, the beauty of radio is the obvious. So, I'm not going to put anybody in the spot, but if you'd like to hop on stage with us and ask Kimberly a question, I think that's fun. So if anybody kind of wants, hey, Sharon, hey, Bonnie, hey, Mary, who else is here? Beth and Corinne, Anissa. Just the party's here, Kimberly. Isn't that fun?
No, look at all these people. I see a couple of familiar names too.
Do you? Wait, no, are you Southern? What's that?
I am. I live in Atlanta.
Oh, that's right. I think that might be in your bio.
Yeah.
Well, I know also the Netherlands, so I picture you back and forth. But Lindsay's here. Okay, Pam's drinking. Maybe time for wine. We don't judge. No water. Oh,
clock somewhere.
Yeah, always. Show your beautiful teacup. Kimberly,
Oh,
you got to see this, guys.
it's this lovely teacup, and look. Can you see what it says? It's backwards.
It says, I hope you choke. I hope you choke. There's nothing like a little Southern farm, right? I love it. And you guys can see By Stranger in the Lake below. You can see that. And those, it's bookshop.org, which supports independent bookstores, which I love, also supports the Reading with Robin literacy efforts, of which there are many. And Books Are Wings is my favorite of the moment. Also, if you check above next to Robin Call Reading with Robin and you hit follow, if your button is green, please make it ungreen, and then you can follow me. And then you see all the fun events that we have coming on. So I know, Bonnie, isn't that great? Kimberly, you know what, actually, do you have the website from where? I know you said it's Miss Haversham's Curiosity.
It's Miss Havisham's Curiosities. If you Google it, you'll see it.
I love that.
This logo.
So is it?
They're called insult cups, and there are a bunch of them. And this is kind of the nicest of the bunch.
Do you have a whole set? Because I
have 6 of them.
So can you say some other ones?
There is kindly F off, except they don't say F; they spell it out.
Okay.
Stop talking. I have one that says socially distant.
Oh, so is it a set? Did you buy like a whole?
Well, they all look a little different. They have different colors. Some of them are different shapes. They're just so cute. They're like real porcelain, like nice teacups that have these really mean things written in them.
I love mean things because I love that they're couched in a kind porcelain vessel, but yet drink up and see what the message is. Pam says she needs. Yeah. I know. I need them too. We will post that. I think your new side gig is selling those cups. I'm
right.
I'm just waiting for everybody to join in. Oh, Sandy, you're loving these. I'm so glad. Okay, Kimberly, you popped off, so pop back on. This may happen.
Okay, I'm still here.
Yeah, that's okay. You can pop back on. We haven't even started. And Sandy, I'm so glad you're enjoying these. And really, everybody who loves what's going on here on the Crowdcast, please tell your friends to also follow Crowdcast. We have so many events happening this summer, and I'm starting to post them more and more, but always trying to grow the audience. So Kate, Pam, so many are sold out. Oh, the cups are sold out. We better not tell
Oh, they
anybody.
are, all of them?
No, no, she said so many are sold out. Well, maybe they'll re-up them.
They do. Uh-oh. What's that? Is that me? Hang on. That's probably me. Sorry.
That's okay. I like the Crowdcast format better than Zoom as well, Sharon. Okay, interesting. Now, Rose can see you, but I can't.
Yeah, I see both of us.
That's so interesting. The other thing too is, you don't happen to have another device on, like a phone or?
No, I don't. I that was that noise, but I turned it off. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Was it another device?
Yeah. Well, I was going to see if I could get in better with another browser.
No, but I'm just so glad to confirm that that's what it is, because I feel like I've troubleshooted everything. All right. So many people are here. They can see us both. You guys, it's the most helpful audience ever. I love. So again, there's questions. Oh, there's 9 questions starting. You know what? I'm not going to ask you anything. I'm just going to ask the audience questions. This is going to be the new show, Reading with Robin, where she just reads everybody else's questions. And the thing is, Stranger in the Lake just came out last week. And so, there you go. This is an early copy of Kimberly has the original. The finished book. And I got this quite a while ago, and you can see it's all messed up the way I love to read a book. I read a book like, as I say, I move into a book. And the Reading with Robin gang, I just told Kimberly before, I mean, we've had every once in a while I'll say, who would you like to see? And so many requests to have you on the show.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. And again, the book just came out, so there will be no spoilers. And we know some people have read early copies. And if you've done that, please leave reviews on Goodreads, on Amazon. 5-star reviews are always, just leave 5-star reviews or don't leave a review. That's what we do. And it's a really wonderful thing to do. And the readers are so awesome with their Goodreads and keeping up with all of this. And you're a fan fave, Kimberly. I mean,
well, thank you.
So you probably should get an introduction, although clearly Kimberly needs none. But here we go. Kimberly Belle is the USA Today and internationally best-selling author of 6 novels. She's sold rights to her books in a dozen languages, as well as film and television options. A graduate of Agnes Scott College, Belle divides her time between Atlanta, thus the accent, and Amsterdam. And again, welcome to Reading with Robin Live.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yay!
Yeah, you're so welcome. Now, you're from Atlanta. Did you meet your husband in Netherlands? Is that what it was?
So I actually grew up in Tennessee, but then I came here to Atlanta to go to school. Agnes Scott is in Decatur, which is right outside of Atlanta. It's basically the same thing. And it's an all-women's college. So I, of course, didn't meet him there, but I met him in a bar.
Cool. Hi.
And my mom was like, all these boys you meet in the bars, that's never going to turn into anything. And meanwhile, all these years later, we're still married. But he's Dutch, which means, that we get back there a lot. And we actually lived there for like 12 years. And both my kids were born there. And now my son is actually living there. So I get over as often as I can, which this year, unfortunately, has not been that much. But
that's the thing. It's not the easiest time to travel. And it's a really short flight, comparatively speaking. I mean, it's 6 hours?
8 hours.
Is it 8? Okay. Longer than I thought. But, I never mind those flights because then you're there. So it's like 5, 6, 8, you take a nap, you get up, you're there.
It's a great flight. So, and they go like 4 times a day from Atlanta. Or they used to. I don't know if that'll stick.
I know. Who knows? It's like impossible to, but it is a different experience. And you've retained your Southern accent, which is charming. And before we begin, because a few people had questions about your skincare routine.
Oh, that's awesome.
So do tell, Kimberly.
Well, so
the skin.
Yeah, I was joking with my daughter who is home. She's in college and she's 21. So, of course, she's all about the skincare as well. And I was like, everybody is joking about how coming out of this thing, like, 10 pounds extra, but I'm going to come out with like perfect skin because I'm really leaning into the skincare. All the serums and the like retin A's, and I do it all. You
have like a routine, you stick to it. You didn't say, well, we're just in isolation. Who cares? You kept your
Yeah, no, I'm doing extras. I bought some extra serums, some new creams. This new one, my newest favorite is well, actually I have two. Glossier is one. I love everything that they have, all their products.
Yeah.
The other is You Beauty, like you, just a you. It's a fairly new serum and it's getting tons of buzz and I love it.
I'm just writing that down. I love Glossier. I love the packaging. My daughter turned me on to it. Is it your daughter's thing? Is it?
Yeah.
It's a young
New York thing too. Yeah. Because
New York thing. And I save every little pouch that the goodies.
Yeah, same.
Right? I know. It's like, oh, I need a little pouch and they're perforated. I mean, they've got little bubbles and
they're pink.
And they're pink. I'm a sucker for that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's yes, you're welcome. And it's KimberlyBelleBooks.com.
Yeah,
and from there you can find her on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter. I didn't check. Are you on Twitter?
Twitter, yes.
What are you thinking of Twitter these days? Is that a place to hang out or?
You know, it's not really a place for me to hang out. My feed is very political, especially lately. And so I do a lot of like scrolling and occasionally I do a lot of book chatting back and forth, but yeah, it's, you know, my blood pressure can't always handle Twitter.
I've been hearing that from a lot of people, and it's interesting because as an author, one of your jobs is to keep up on the social media platforms, and you have to work with the ones that feel authentic.
Yeah.
And you have to know where your audience is. And I check in with Twitter to see what the author is and the bookish stuff, and there's obviously been a lot additional, you know, and a lot of very meaningful dialogue, but you can just get overwhelmed. And so on Instagram and looking at the pictures, it's a little more peaceful. So I fall off Twitter a lot, but I try and check in, but it doesn't work the same. But you can go to Kimberly Belle Author on Facebook.
Yeah.
Then like her page. And while you're on Facebook, go to Reading with Robin. If you haven't liked my page, that would be so cool. I would appreciate it. And yeah, it's fun to follow on Instagram. Does someone do it for you, or are you in charge?
I actually have someone who's been like coming up with the posts for me and helping me out. And we were talking before this started because I've been, you know, promoting this book, but I'm also on deadline. So I'm working 2 jobs. And one of the first things I did, like back in, I guess, March or April, was hire somebody for my social media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my pictures. I'm taking the pictures and I'm, you know, we work together to come up with the wording. So it's really me. I know every post that goes up, but it's somebody else who's actually doing the typing and the arranging and thinking about putting up.
Well, and that's super helpful. I think that when you can have somebody that you work with who gets what you're doing, and then you're very involved. You're not just saying like, hey, just run with it. So it sounds like you and it's authentic, and it does take a little bit of the weight off of
a lot of the weight.
Right. And we were talking about this before, like you've written the book just came out, there's all the pre-pub stuff to do, and then you're on deadline. And is deadline, like how dead is deadline? Like, do they really mean it, or like, is it?
So, you know, I could ask for an extension if I needed one. And I actually did that with this book because it took me a little bit longer and the deadline was really tight. And I needed a little more time to like pull the manuscript together before turning it in. But I don't want to do that with every book. No. So my deadline officially is September 1st. I'll probably have it done early next month, my first draft, but then I want to send it to my beta readers. I want to get my agent to read it. I want other people to read it, get some eyes on it and some feedback before I send it to my editor, because if I can work that step in, it makes it that much stronger and less work on the back end.
Yeah. I mean, it is really, you know, it's something that you wind up learning. Like it's a lot of work up front, but then if it makes the process, and then other things happen. So then you must feel really good, like when this is all where it needs to be.
Right.
What's it like to put your head in 2 spaces, you know, in the lake and wherever the other body's going to be found in the next book?
Yeah, that's harder because I really, especially with writing, I like a big stretch of time. I typically like a 6-hour block if I can work it into my day to really sit down and pound out the story. And it usually takes me a good hour to get into the story and get really going, you know? So if I only have a couple of hours, by the time I feel like I'm really deep into it, it's time to stop. So
yeah.
It's hard. I try to, when I'm promoting and on deadline at the same time, I'll get up, I'll do some social media stuff, and then I turn my internet off.
Smart.
And I write for a few hours, and then I pop back on, and I just kind of do that on and off while I'm writing. But, you know, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, and it's tempting. And I think that that's such a great strategy. And I always admire people who are very diligent about it and can just back off. I have a really hard time with unanswered anythings, but you can't get anything if you're constantly, you know, I always like the readers to know how much I appreciate, you know, you popped back off again. How much, yeah, I don't know how you come back on. And maybe everyone's going to say, hey, they see you, but I don't see you. Yeah, I think Sharon's asking, do you have a team? She has somebody that's working with her for social media. And, but really the work comes from the writer. I mean, you can have a team, but it's you, it's all your voice. Okay. Kate can't see you. So, okay. Yeah, you pop off and pop back on. We call this
what that is about.
I don't know. We call this the Andorra effect. You just
can they hear me? You can hear me, right?
We can hear you. Oh, yeah. No, they can't see you, but they can hear you. Thank you, everybody. The best audience ever.
They can hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know. I see both of us on my screen. It's so weird.
Yeah. I think if you just close the video and then open it, maybe.
You're to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. There you are.
Oh, good. Yay.
We see your glowing Glossier skin again. So what I found really interesting was, so you left a corporate life. You were in marketing and nonprofit fundraising. So, and for how many years were you doing that?
Gosh, probably close to 10 years. Yeah.
And then I always love to know, was it something you always wanted to do, be a writer? Were stories floating in your head? Were you like, I'm done with corporate? Was there like a half in, half out? What happened, Kimberly?
Well, so I loved working with nonprofits, and the ones that I worked with, I mean, and the people that I met and the work that we did, it was so valuable and I got so much from it. But I always felt like I had a story to tell. And it was kind of this secret dream of mine. I mean, I really didn't talk about it with anybody, including my husband. And so that day that I said to him, I think I want to write a book, he was like, what? Where is this coming from?
Isn't that interesting? It wasn't like you've already sort of mentioned it, or, hey, what do you think about this? Just like you could have easily said, I'm leaving you.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right. But then like in 2008, I was consulting here in Atlanta, and the crash hit and all my clients just went up in smoke. And so I thought, well, I can go out and find another job, or maybe this is the universe giving me a sign. So I chose to see it as a sign. And like I said, that was 2008, and my first book came out in 2014. So that tells you a little bit about how long it took me to figure out what I was doing. I actually wrote multiple manuscripts before I found an agent who sold my books a year later. So, you know, it's a really long process. And I think maybe that was part of my hesitation getting in, is that I knew it was going to be a long, hard road. You know, so I don't know. But now that I've done it, I can't imagine ever going back.
I was just going to say, we were talking about Thriller Fest before. I mean, when you find something and it's so authentic and your readers are so connected to you, and like I said, a lot of times when I'll post like, hey, who should we have on? Kimberly is ringing the bell all over. Like, can you imagine having not tried that, and like look at that connection and where your career's gone, and books that have been optioned, and I love your story. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All you had to do was say 2008, and I was like,
yeah.
2008. So let's talk a little bit about the book. There will be no spoilers, so don't worry. But we start off with Charlotte, and you know what? I read this a really long time ago, like maybe December or January. I think it was a long time ago. And when I was looking through notes before, I was like, oh my God, I could totally picture Charlotte and Paul. And he was like out jogging or something, and she knows something that happened, and is she going to sort of protect him? Like it was a very visual read. And so yeah, talk a little bit about this couple, and no spoilers, what sort of happened. Right. Story.
So Charlotte is a young woman, and she's grown up really rough. Her mother is an addict, her father is in prison, and she basically raised herself and her brother, Chet, who's also in the story. And then she meets this man while she's working at the gas station. He comes in, and he's older, he's much wealthier. In love and get married, and despite all of this, they're very happy until one morning she discovers a body floating in the lake in the exact same spot where his first wife drowned. So their story just really unravels from there. That's what Robin was talking about when he runs in and the police are there and they pull her out of the lake, and it turns out that the stranger isn't really that much of a stranger because it's the same woman she saw Paul talking to the day prior in town.
So then you were wondering, well, why does he say he doesn't know her? And she had seen that. And then the idea of, yes, Kate, you must read this book. Yeah, you guys are going to love it. And that's the thing. There's secrets and lies, and like, do you follow your gut, and are things ever the way they seem? And so you just want to know. You just want to, and psychological thrillers are really so hot. That's what people want to read. And readers can't get enough of them. And we are giving 5 copies away. So all of the people that are commenting, you're all in the hat. You've thrown it in the ring, and we'll pick later. And I think, these shows remain up, but I think if we post on here, so check back later and we'll post the winners. Or you know what it is? I'll send everybody an email. I can send an email from here and we'll send the winners. But just know you guys can come back here. And if you have friends that would enjoy this, enjoy the book, enjoy the conversation, you can send the link to this show and it will remain up. And again, books can be purchased here where it says buy Lake. And then you can follow my Crowdcast page here where it says follow. If it's green, you can follow. If it's grayed out, you followed. And and who doesn't want to win this book? Like, raise your hand if you don't want to be counted in for the one of 5 copies. I'm just being silly. What else can you, there's the stories where it's sort of marrying the wrong side of the track, and you've got small town secrets, and people gossip. So research for this, or Southern living giving you a sort of sense of that? Where do you sort of get the idea of how that small town mentality works?
I think it's really Southern living. And so Lake Crosby in this book is a fictional lake, but I modeled it after the lakes around Cashers and Highlands, North Carolina. Anybody in the South would know. There's a beautiful area in the mountains, and just lakes, mountains, the whole thing. But it's an area where a lot of outside money, people from Atlanta and Asheville and cities like that, come in, and they've really transformed these sleepy little towns into kind of a resorty area. And there's country clubs and restaurants and the whole thing, boutiques. It's lovely, but for the people who've lived there for generations, like Charlotte, it provides this really weird gap between, what her life has been like, and these people who maybe even were born there, like Paul. He grew up there, but he still is considered an outsider because he's part of that new money group of people. So it provides this really interesting dynamic with, Charlotte, when it looks like Paul might be guiltier than he's willing to admit, she really, money is always in her head, because as soon as she leaves Paul, she leaves this new life, and she really doesn't want to go back to the trailer park. So, that extra dimension.
Yeah. Imagine not wanting to go back to the trailer park.
Yeah. So, and it's back to your question. It's kind of based on just travels that I've done and things that I've seen in areas that I know. But I've also always wanted to write a story on the lake because, especially for a suspense story, really as an author, all you have to do is describe the lake and you just know as a reader something bad's going to happen there.
Oh yeah, nothing good's going to happen. Like, and when I got the book, and it's like you got stranger and lake in one title, so like there it is. I mean, you just know, and I think when you grab a book and you already have that sense of it's a psychological thriller, stranger in the lake, it's your sixth novel. People know that they're in for a good ride, and the dichotomy between like the people who live in a town and then the people who come in and knock down houses and build them up and what that relationship is like. There's always stuff that's fraught because there's a win for the town and then there's a sense of entitlement on the other end. So that's always a great dynamic. And so what was the jumping off point? What was the first sort of nugget for the story where you thought, or was it a character you first came up with?
No, my stories I don't know where that comes from either. Cause like I said, I've been happily married for a really long time, but my stories tend to, start with a marriage and something really bad that happens in it. And I think, maybe it's just, the idea of a betrayal in a relationship like that. I mean, what could be worse? What could be scarier, right? Is when the person you love and who sleeps next to you at night in bed turns out to have done this horrible, awful thing, or maybe is accused of doing this awful thing. So those are typically the jumping off points in a lot of my stories. Secrets between husbands and wives, because secrets never stay secret, right? They always come out.
Yeah, darned if you try to keep them a secret. Somebody always slips up. And I think it's also the side that people will show, even in a marriage, even in a very close marriage. And that idea of is it not all that it seems? Is it too good to be true?
Right.
And a character will wonder, well, how do I trust my gut? And if I don't trust this, what else couldn't I have trusted? And then it's hard to sort of look at that because then you're forced to make some kind of choice. And does your husband have any specific input into like, wow, another book about a marriage that's real? You always know you were interested in writing. So is he like, what else don't I know about Kimberly and her glory?
Kind of a little bit.
Cups, yeah.
He's always very careful to tell everybody that this is not biographical. The inspiration did not come from our relationship.
Yeah, just buy the book. It's not biographical. Just buy it from my wife. But it's funny how that happens with authors, and because the stories seem so real. So when you have, back in the day when we had live events, I know that people like to really know which part came from life, or sometimes it's the essence. But if you've written a lot of books that have that marriage theme, it's almost like you could throw people the other way. Like, obviously, I wouldn't be writing about this so much if that were the case. Or, but it's interesting because people do want to know where stuff came from, because you jump into a novel and it's real, even though it's a novel.
Yeah.
And so, I know I'm looking at all these comments. Rose says, "Dear Wife has been my favorite so far, but this one sounds terrific." It is terrific. And I love all these comments. There's 18 questions though. Like, so I'm going to do, and guys, if anybody wants to be brought on camera, I haven't done this yet. So I thought it would be fun to do something new. It's a Monday, it's the afternoon, it's like low pressure. So if you want to just like raise your hand, if you want to come on, I'm going to just ask Kimberly one of these questions. Which one of your books is, Lindsay wants to know, which one of your books is your favorite? Favorite child question.
I get asked that a lot, and it's kind of, my answer is always like, it's like asking me to choose between my children. I love them differently, but equally. I don't know. I don't know that I have a one particular favorite. There have been some that were easier to write than others. Some that the idea came to me, like Dear Wife, the idea came to me fully formed. I knew when it woke me up in the middle of the night, my eyes popped open. I call it a gift from the writing gods. It literally just was handed to me on a silver platter. So I love that about that story.
You had been thinking about a little bit, or you like literally dreamt it up?
Sorry.
No, was it like something that?
No, it like my eyes popped open and there was the whole story. I knew my characters, I knew everything, and it was the middle of the night. Everybody was asleep, and I stared at the ceiling and watched it play like a movie across the ceiling. It was
wow. That's wild, because I always wonder when things come at night, and I do get some of my best ideas. Were they floating around during the day? So did you stay up and watch the ceiling movie?
Yes. Yeah. I lay there probably for like 2 hours while I just like went through my head. And then by the time I woke up the next morning, and I had just, and this is the weird thing about brains and subconscious, right? I had just turned in a proposal for my 5th book. And I went to bed that night, and that's when it happened. I woke up the next morning and I called my editor, and I was like, hold the phone, I have a better idea. So you like let go and your brain releases, the ideas pop in. It's weird.
I love that. I just, things are always come, little bits and snippets come during the day or whatever, but like to have a ceiling, it's almost like a drive-in on your ceiling. Has that ever happened again, or was that a one-time?
It was a one-time thing, and if I could figure out how to make it again, I would do that, because I need a good idea every year.
Well, I'm sure if you posed it to your readers, you would get many good ideas. And you're working, and the next one, like you said, has to be turned in by September. So you've got that idea. So do you have the next idea, or you work? No. Okay. We'll see what happens on the ceiling.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe you could paint a little fresco, could go on up there. But everybody's going to love to read it. And go to KimberlyBelleBooks.com. And from there, you can find her on Facebook, on Instagram. Follow and like and share books that you love with your friends. And also the Amazon and Goodreads reviews are really helpful and supportive thing to do for our authors. And you have so many fans here, so I know people would love to do that. What was your favorite? Vesta would like to know, what was your favorite read? Why am I doing this? What was your favorite read so far this year? And what book coming out later this year in the fall or winter are you most looking forward to reading? I love that question.
So far this year. I think probably, am I gone? Am I still here? I think probably Heather Gudenkauf's This Is How I Lied. It came out last month, I think, and that was, I think, my favorite read of this year so far. The fall, there are so many good books coming out. Yeah. So many. Wendy Walker has a new one coming out. Danielle Girard, I'm super excited about. Hank Phillippe Ryan.
Oh, that's so good. First to Lie?
First to Lie.
It's so good.
Kate Moretti has a book coming out. Emily Carpenter has her follow-up to her debut, Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters or something like that. Yeah, so there's so many good books. I can't wait to be off deadline. I actually have time to read them.
Yeah, because it is. You're on strict schedule, and it's really hard. And when your friends are writing books and you're getting all of these advanced copies, and you want to be supportive, and it's really tricky. And I know for myself, I start a book. I'm so excited about them. I'm looking at still reading some of the summer ones and the fall ones, and the ones I didn't get to, I sort of keep in a separate space because I want to get to them. And okay, oh my goodness, you have so many questions. And does anybody, and if you guys do want to pop on and ask one like in person, you can just mention it down there. I'm not going to like stick you on camera. Don't worry. Can you tell us a little about the new book?
Yes. Wait. So the one that's coming out, the one I'm writing.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the one that's coming. Yes.
So I can't really. I'm still like so deep in it. It's hard for me to talk like in great detail about it, but I can say that it is a book about a home invasion, and and it's something that happens a lot, unfortunately, here in Atlanta. So I have lots of inspiration for it. I even know some friends it's happened to. So I'm taking a little bit of their story and using a lot from my imagination. And it should be out in the fall of 2021.
Thank you. people, I love, that's a question, you know, people, they want more because they so attached to your book. So that's good to know. Which authors have inspired your writing?
Mm.
For all the questions, guys, they really are asking questions.
I love it. So all those, I read books, pleasure, of course, but I also am always looking to see how other authors do it, and how they do something that's like really amazing. One of the books, actually a couple books that I've read fairly recently that I read and then I went back and reread and like even mapped out to see exactly how they structured their stories.
Wow.
The first is No Exit. Have you read that one, No Exit?
No, but I have it.
It's so good. That's one. And the other is Good Girls Lie by J.T. Ellison.
Yeah.
She broke a whole bunch of lies in, or a whole bunch of rules in that book. And I was like, how did you do it? So I literally went chapter for chapter and wrote down how she did it and just like took the whole book apart to see, but it was fabulous. I sucked it down in one sitting.
I love, yeah, there's nothing like that. That's how I read Stranger in the Lake. And I think that that's, you know, there's, so you really can't read a book and just read it. You're like trying to figure out, or you're also taking it as an educational, you know, turn that part of your brain off, right? I mean, even when I'm reading a book, if I know I'm going to be interviewing the author, I'm taking some notes, not a lot, but I want to remember, especially so far ahead. So sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to read this book and not take one note. And I mark the book and I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. But if I like to tear it apart in terms of structure and how somebody did something that you haven't done yet or that you like to do, is that sounds like a really great way to learn it because you're seeing.
Yeah.
Have you ever written to the author and said, how'd you do that? Is there a different way to do this?
I was on a panel with the No Exit author, and I can't remember his name, Taylor something or something Taylor. I can't remember, but I was on a panel with him, so I was quizzing him on the panel. I'm like, how did you do that? It was so great. And every time you thought it couldn't get worse, it got worse. And I mean, it was just one of those books that like, I barely breathed for the last half.
So the case was just like that. And what did he say? What was his answer? I love when you can sort of do your research, the form of an interview and an entertaining conversation, but then get some really good information.
Yeah, he was great. He was so, you know, he's like, oh, that's awesome to hear, and super gracious about it, but because I was kind of fangirling on him. But I can say that's as compliment you can get is our author. Oh my gosh, how did you do that?
Right.
You know, that was so amazing, or whatever. That's like the best thing you can hear.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's like, it's not, there's so much work and to make a book look so effortless. And like, of course, this is the way it's supposed to be. But when you're looking at it with a different eye, you have that sense of appreciation of Taylor Adams. Thank you, Anissa and Mary. I love the answers. I love that you guys are pulling through with the answers. We're never going to get to all these questions, but we're more, which comes first for you, the idea for the plot or the characters?
It's typically the plot, because that's kind of where I start, and I work with an outline. So I spend a lot of time thinking through, you know, chapter by chapter, scene by scene, what's going to happen as I move through the story. And that is typically the bulk of it is plot. Once I have a handle on my premise and what kind of things are going to be happening in the book, then I'll kind of backdoor in the character about a character in this story who's going to be the worst possible person to be in that situation, right? I mean, that's what a book is about. So I kind of backdoor in the characters typically. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I can't believe, I think, Kimberly, this is the most amount of questions we've ever gotten. Oh, somebody asked which lake you were imagining, but you just talk about this. What do you look for when readers are giving you ARC reviews? That's a great question. What are you looking for from the early reviewers?
Well, I'm looking to, when they're reviewing my book, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm always looking to see, you know, if what they thought of the characters, of the plot. Now that I have a bunch of books under my belt, you know, hard not to attention to the, I like this book, but I like this book better, or I like this book the best of all, or, you know, and stars, you know, you mentioned stars before, really does make a difference.
It does. It really does. And a lot of authors, right? So that's why I say if it's not going to be a 5-star review, keep your 3-star reviews to yourself. I mean, it doesn't really help anything.
No. But I review a lot of books too, because I know how important that is. And so anything that I read and love, I review, and I'm never stingy with my stars, never.
Yeah, because why? You know, it's funny, and I've said this before in Reading with Robin, and I started the show 18 years ago on the radio, and I would get the people saying, you know, oh my God, you love every book. And I would say, no, I only talk about the books I love.
Yes.
And if I haven't talked about a book, doesn't mean I didn't love it. I might not have read it, but I don't see the point, you know, unless you're quietly being a beta reader and you want to give your honest feedback. But I don't think it's helpful. And you know, and I do the reviews. I feel like these are my reviews, and that's what I do. But every once in a while, someone specifically asks me, and I don't feel like it's my strong suit. But if it's a book that I loved and I can do it, I give it 5 stars and I say a few things, and I'm glad that's helpful. So.
Well, and also with reviews, you know, you don't have to say tons. You can just say you loved it, you read it really fast, you know, got sucked into whatever it is that you loved about it. That's what matters. It's not the eloquence of the review.
I hear. Yes. Oh, you're more for your beautiful skin. So actually, you know, Kimberly, later, if you want to go through, and everybody has to then come back to this page to see the answers. But if you would like to answer some of these questions about your skincare, character names, people would like to know character names. How do you pick them?
So you know, character names is something that's really a gut thing. It's kind of magical when you hit on the right name for that character. All of a sudden they come alive in your head. With this particular book, the character name, my main character, Charlotte, was I actually even used her name as kind of a plot device, because she was born Charlie. That was her given name. And then, you know, she tried to get out of this situation and become, you know, move to the other side of the mountain, the nice side of the mountain. And she changed her name to Charlotte because she thought that would be classier. But meanwhile, all the people she'd grown up with, she wasn't fooling any of them. And they were like, whatever, you know, you're still Charlie to us. So
you can't change.
Yeah. In the end, she had to decide who she wanted to be. And so, but yeah, names are fun. Yeah. Micah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking. While you're writing the book, do you transport yourself into one of the characters and really feel like you're there?
Yeah, I try to channel, especially my main characters. I try to channel them all, even the bad ones, because there's a reason that they're the villain, right? It's not necessarily because they were born that way. Something happened in their life to make them that way, and I want the readers to get a little sense of that as well. So I do try to channel my characters. And I've talked about this on other forums, but there was a Guardian article out, I don't know, maybe a month ago, about how authors hear their characters talking in their heads. And I hear them with accent, speech patterns, the whole thing. I know exactly how they sound, and they talk to me about stuff that's not happening in the book. They'll, you know, about what I'm eating for dinner or whatever. I hear them occasionally just pipe in, which is weird. And at first I thought I was a little crazy, but apparently I'm not the only one.
No, you're not the only crazy one. And the thing is, they're living so inside of you because you're writing about them, you're thinking about them, you're, you know, so I can see where it's, you know, voices in your head. And so, yeah. And do you ever say to them like, no, I'm not going to have you do that. And, you know, you write your own book, voice in my head. This is going. And I do think it's really cool. And I have heard that. And it does seem to be a tool or, you know, just really part of the process. Have you done many panels where you guys are all like, from the panels you've done with other authors of the same genre, do you, what's the back and forth conversation like in terms of process or coming up with the storyline, or just like continuing to find new ways to torture your characters?
So, I mean, it's different with every panel because every panel is, a pretty specific kind of topic about like, how to, hold up the suspense, or unlikable characters is another
My favorite topics.
yeah, you could talk about for days. But it's always interesting to get everyone's input. And what I've learned is that everybody's process is different,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody does it their own way. And I always am interested in hearing about how they do it, and eager to try things that I think might work for me. But I've learned now that my process of, plotting it all out in advance, I don't write super fast. I get like, my daily word count is maybe somewhere between 700 and 1,000 words. If I go over 1,000, that is a really good day.
Yeah.
So I'm slow and steady, but that's just the way I write.
Yeah, it has to work for you, and that's the thing. Somebody asked, do you read your reviews? Do you go online and see what people are saying?
So I read the big ones, the Kirkus and all the book lists, whatever those, there are, a half a dozen of them that I'm interested in seeing when they come out. I also keep an eye on the reviews when a book first comes out. I just want to kind of keep an eye on like what people are liking, what people are maybe not so much like, I just want to keep an eye on them. But really, once the book comes out, I kind of stop reading them.
Yeah, I can see that, because it could be overwhelming. Oh, you disappeared again.
Uh-oh. Well,
the thing is, right, if you get, it's kind of like when I ask too many questions, I have the few people that I go to for certain advice or information, but the more you like sort of put it out there, it's overwhelming. So I see where in writing, are you in a writing group?
Well, I have some people who kind of critique and beta read my stuff, other authors, other like big readers. So but it's not really a group, no.
Right, because I know there's some people that have writing groups, and anybody we would know.
Well, Emily Carpenter is one of my betas, and I beta read her stuff occasionally. Not everything. We don't do it with every book because I just don't have time with every book.
Wait, where did I?
Now I left my screen too. Can you still hear me? Oh wait.
Wait, where did we go? Here, it was all going so well.
Oh wait, here.
Wait, there I am. Where?
There.
Oh. It's like a disappearing act. It's like it's a book chat, and it's a little bit of like
magic tricks.
Penn and Teller, although one of them dead now, so not them. It's like, and we couldn't do it if we wanted it. Let's watch Kimberly disappear.
Right.
Remember do you remember the TV show Soap? When one of them used to think he could disappear by, I'm dating myself. I'm much older than you. Amy Popel's here.
Hi, Amy.
Did we do that in sync? Does anybody want to come on and ask a question? I'm trying to sort of try this feature. So I can't, we're psychologically messing with you guys, Pam. That's right. This was Kimberly and I were hanging out in the green room. We were like, let's just see if they notice. Hey, Amy. But if somebody, I guess the answer is no. Like when you ask a question and no, and not getting an answer is an answer. I just am the kind of person that keeps asking the question till I get the answer I want. Tony, I don't mind PJs. I'm wearing PJs too with the top. No, I am actually wearing pants because
I'm wearing my work outfit because after this I'm out. So come on.
No, and if they won't, it's okay.
Kate says she'll ask the question.
What?
Kate Lloyd says she will.
Oh, Kate will? Okay.
Kate Lloyd says she'll ask.
All right, Kate, let's because I'm just dying to see if we can do this, because why not? It's going so well. Let's see if we can. All right, Kate, we're going to bring you on, and then we're going to see Kate. Okay, this is cool. We're now channeling Kate Lloyd. Kate Lloyd. Kate. So I think you just have to accept our little, accepting and connecting. I just wanted to see how this would work. And this is such a cool audience, and they're like, okay, we'll try. It's been a crazy day for me today. I got out and met a friend for lunch outside. It felt normal.
Wow.
I mean, so I'm like, I'm just all kinds of excited to just see. But she's accepting and connecting. Oh,
Here she comes.
there she is. Now, do you see her? Because I see her little picture.
I see a picture. Oh, wait. Now it's.
Oh, there she is. Yay, it works. Hey, Kate. Wait, is your mic on?
I hope it's
Hey, nice to see you.
I hope it's real.
This is so cool. Thank you for trying this. So that's how it works. It works. Hey, Rena, I'm glad you got to check out the show. I've been sending everybody.
Can you hear?
Everybody, are you enjoying the show, Kate?
Connections maybe a little.
Yeah, but it works. It works. Kate is brave. She is brave. Kate, people are saying,
I am. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can.
Yes.
And now we can't see you. But yeah. But can we hear you?
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm glad you can't see. It's no makeup. Look at that. But I do have a question for Kimberly.
Good.
Sure.
I have a question for Kimberly, and it has to do, and I keep telling myself that I am going to write out the plot first, because I always have to go back over and fix and rewrite and rewrite. So how do you do that? On your computer, by hand? How do you plot first?
I typically do it on it's not Excel because I work on a Mac. So what is that, numbers? But it's basically an Excel program, and I will like number the on the left column, and I typically go to about 32 chapters, and it's something I can divide by 4. So you have your 25% mark, your 50% mark, and your 75, and then your beginning and ending, and I fill those in. I keep filling in from A to C to D, and just keep going until I have a whole story.
That's a great answer. I let Kate go because we couldn't see her, but we could hear her. So I think that is a very
an author.
Thank you very much for doing that. Do you just looking at any other questions? How many months or weeks before the pub date do you stop reading the reviews, the comments and the reviews?
It's usually around pub date. I'm keeping an eye on things prior to pub date. And sometimes, the reviews come in a little late, especially from the big ones. So, I keep an eye on everything up until pub date and maybe a little bit after, but I don't read every word of the reviews.
Yeah. And I think, your readers are, to me, like you're writing for the readers, and the readers, overwhelmingly, like I said, oft requested author. I think that they were going to have a revolt if Kimberly Belle did not get on the reading.
I love that.
And we were trying. Kate Lloyd, people are asking, yes. And I love that everybody's like, it takes a village. It really does. I hosted Ellen Hildebrand the other night, and Meg Mitchell-Moore and Emily Henry, and I disappeared. So while I disappeared, they took over, which was really cool. Then I came back and I said, all right, it's my show. But anyway, this was so much fun. So we're going to pick 5, or you're going to pick, Kimberly's going to pick, and then we will post right here. Actually, you know what? If you want to, Kimberly, because everybody's still watching, maybe make a little list, and then you can, where it says say something nice, just write the winners' names. Am I putting you on the spot? Because I'll just keep talking. No. Yeah. You could just pick
I choose from the comments.
Everybody who's there, you can just pick 5, and then if you guys don't win a book but you still would love a book, you can buy Stranger in the Lake here. And again, please follow me up there next to my name, and tell your friends that we do all these cool events coming up. I'm going to plug my next event on June 25th, and tickets are available. I have Candace Bushnell of Sex and the City fame.
Ooh.
young adult novel called Rules for Being a Girl, and it's a really important book, and it's a fun book, but it's sort of it's a serious, well, it's fun and light, but serious also about the Me Too movement and what we have to really be very mindful of and open with our young women in our lives. So that's what this is about. And not only is Candace joining me, but my pal, Tori Spelling, will be in conversation with Candace. So it's Candace Bushnell, Tori Spelling, Rules for Girls, and it's all to benefit Girls, Inc. And there's more information, but it's happening on Thursday, June 25th at 7 o'clock Eastern. And tomorrow on A Mighty Blaze, my buddy Marcy Germansky, whose book, very nice, it's out in paperback, will be on A Mighty Blaze Facebook page at 1 o'clock Eastern. And that is one funny, smart, funny, I'll say it again, book. Marcy Germansky is very nice. It's hilarious. And that's, I kind of wish I had trail out music. I don't want to get too fancy, but I feel like right now there should be music on. And it's like Kimberly and I are going to say goodbye and thank everybody for watching. And thank you to Kimberly's team, Emmy and Susie, who are awesome and on top of everything and did a great job. And it is such a treat to have you again. KimberlyBelleBooks.com for more info. Find her on Facebook. Give a little like, go to Instagram, give a little follow, share with your friends. And, you know, I think that's one of the best things that we can do for the authors we love is share their books. I always, well, back in the day when you would go out and go somewhere, I'd walk around with the books and I'd be like, leave them at the shop. Some people would be like, what are you reading? Now we don't do that as much, but like I was always photographing my books in remote locations and just share books. And it's such a joy, and there's nothing like summertime reading. So did you post the winners?
I did. There are 5 in there.
Okay, okay. Rose is asking. There are 5 in there. Hey, when Kimberly's given a job, seriously. So okay, so the winners. All right, so they're in there somewhere. You know, will you email them to me, because then I get, this is a procedure. Kimberly picks them, she gets them to me, and then I get them to your publicity team, and then they send them out. So I just think this was so much fun, and I love this Crowdcast format. It feels like everybody is, you know, we can't be together in person, but I feel like it's more than being together virtually, and we see all your comments, and we just appreciate it, and it's the joy of reading and sharing books that we love.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. And also,
thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
Such a pleasure. Next time I have you on, we're going to watch you do your skincare routine. You like with one of those headbands back, and we just watch or something like that.
I love it.
Fun. People what they want.
Date.
Okay, I will take that date. You got to give the people are clamoring for Kimberly Belle skincare routine. So I think that, you know, because in the middle of like getting your deadline hit and everything else, just do like a little tutorial in your stories would probably be very cool, because you've got a glowy, dewy look.
That's a real idea.
It's a really good, engaging thing. Yeah, people love seeing just authors in the wild doing different things. So again, if you enjoyed this video, please tell your friends to this show performance. Tell them to follow on crowdcast.io/reading with Robin. Reading with Robin. It's so convoluted. It's my name with hyphens in between. And there'll be more fun here. And you can send people to watch this if you had such a fun time. You can actually copy the link and post it on your Facebook page and say, oh my God, got to see Kimberly and her dewy skin and her really. Plus, she wrote a really great book called Stranger in the Lake. This is out last week and is available. And Kimberly's such a treat to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, we like to have.
Thanks to the winners. I hope you guys love it. Let me know what you think.
They will love it, and they will leave you 5-star reviews to show you just how much they love it. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and see you soon.
Bye.
And I think when I end this, I end you too, Kimberly. So a dear goodbye to you and to your team. and continued celebration of Stranger in the Lake. And look forward to the next one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.